Hello, good evening, and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. Top stories in the news: government officials risk losing their jobs for frustrating youth empowerment schemes. Reverend GODFREDAH SUMAILI claims the PF will bounce back to serve Zambians. Prominent lawyer JONAS ZIMBA suspended from practicing law. In international news, UN suspends Russia from human rights body over Ukraine abuses. And in sports news, ATLETICO Madrid charged by UEFA following Manchester City Champions League tie.
On Monday, 11th April 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Dr. Chishimba Kambwili, PF presidential aspiring candidate.
You can't do this in public with Shomi. This is not right. No, but this is not right. Even when he was on the cross, feeling the pain, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do." Equally, I'm a Christian, and that's my life. Where I come from, they say, "Nalikwevele tabulapo, nalikwevele tabulapo." Elo kabili wa kweve mfo ya kwa nopo, mutanji. But sometimes I'm misunderstood.
Don't miss as they discuss the state of the nation on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello and once again and welcome to the news. A Nigerian clergywoman, Reverend Funke Adeyumo, has urged the church in Zambia to join in the fight for gender equality if the country is to achieve its desired developmental goals. Speaking at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport when she arrived ahead of a women's call on Saturday, the Reverend says both women and men need to complement each other in participating in various economic activities. Meanwhile, a Zambian clergyman, Bishop Peter Ndlovu, has urged stakeholders to reflect the Christian nation status of the country, even as they conduct various political activities. More in the following report.
Zambia has over the years been making aggressive efforts aimed at achieving gender equality by 2030, as per the United Nations commitment for member countries. Among these efforts is the introduction of the school re-entry policy for girls who have fallen pregnant, school scholarships targeted at girls, as well as tailor-made empowerment programs for women aimed at giving them economic empowerment. Gaps have, however, been noted by activists in the gender circles, among them an information gap in some areas on why women need to be active in social, economic, and political activities in the country. A Nigerian clergy, Reverend Funke Adeyumo, says it is time for the church to join in encouraging the female congregants to rise to the occasion. She was speaking to Camnet News at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, where she was being received by other clergy ahead of a women's conference on Saturday.
The time when women will just sit down at home in the kitchen raising kids, that time is fading away. Everyone that cannot follow the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire was destroyed when the Israelites left Egypt. That's one of the reasons we're here, to sensitize the women, to let them know that Hebrews chapter 1 verse 1 makes us understand that principles don't change, but methods change. God, who at sundry times now, so in stone age and in years past, the woman was only known and seen to be laid back, to sit down, give birth to children every year. Things have changed. There's a mighty move of God among women.
Meanwhile, a Zambian clergy, Bishop Peter Ndlovu, has also added his voice.
Our guest, all the way from Nigeria, she has not come with an empty promise. She has come with a message from the throne of God. And therefore, women of Zambia, arise and take this as your opportunity. I believe Zambia as a Christian nation, our government will also support the church, because the church is a major stakeholder to the governance of this country.
In adding her voice, Ms. Faith Temitope, who was part of the Nigerian entourage, has called on women to begin viewing themselves in a positive light if to win the fight for gender equality.
So I'm inviting women out there just to have the understanding and to know that this meeting indeed is a step up, ukalimo. So we are just telling women there that ukalimo, come on, also rise up. I mean, you can be a mother of 5, you might be divorced or things may be going down. It does not mean you are finished.
The clergy have indicated that they will endeavor to impart the said knowledge on Zambian women during their stay. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government has revised the youth empowerment guidelines following a thorough review of the implementation modalities. Addressing the media Friday, Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, Elvis Nkandu, says the guidelines will respond to many challenges that the youth are facing across the country. At the same briefing, Mr. Nkandu has also revealed that his ministry has recovered 21 million kwacha from the youth empowerment loans beneficiaries since September 2021. More in the following report.
The Ministry in charge of Youth, Sport and Arts has Friday revised the youth empowerment guidelines in order to respond to many challenges the youth face across the country. Addressing the media, Minister in charge Elvis Nkandu says the revised empowerment guidelines follows a thorough review of the implementation modalities to achieve equal and easy access to empowerment programs.
Because of youth vulnerability to socio-economic shocks, the new Dawn government has prioritized youth empowerment and employment creation through a strategic multi-sectoral approach that will address fragmentation of interventions and poor targeting of beneficiaries. In this regard, my ministry has since reviewed the implementation modalities of the youth empowerment programs. The more reason why you are here. That is very important. By developing new guidelines, and I want to repeat that we've now developed new guidelines in order to facilitate effective implementation of youth empowerment.
The minister has also revealed that the ministry has recovered 21 million since September 2021 from initial beneficiaries of various empowerment loans.
Pleased to announce that since September 2021, the ministry has so far recovered 21 million, where we found nothing. We found zero. And I think people should appreciate that really we attach great importance to youth affairs. Because in the history of this country, it's the first time where the president can be found at the same place with the vice president. So youths out there should now realize that really this government attaches great importance to their affairs. And also Youth Indavite also provided the platform. The people first should understand that it's not that we didn't have an agenda, we didn't have a vision for the young people. We may have the agenda and also the vision for the young people. But after election, we wanted now the youths to interact physically with the head of state and the second head of state. For us, that was very important.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Kanyama constituency member of Parliament Chinkuli Monti has assured people of his constituency that a portion of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, will go towards enhancing security in the constituency through the construction of more police posts. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Monti says this is in response to cries from community members who say the only police post in the constituency is a walk of about 1 hour from some parts of the area, hence leaving some community members sidelined.
Community members in Zambia have often expressed the need for the construction of more community police posts as one way of enhancing security, emphasizing that these should be adequately staffed and equipped. These calls arise from various incidences in the community, such as cases of suspected rape and murder that are often recorded. Another concern has been the less frequent attacks from community gangs locally known as junkies, who have allegedly been taking advantage of citizens due to the lack of adequate police posts in some areas. Some places like Chikankata district in Southern Province have been indicating that the only police post in the district is dilapidated. Others, such as residents of Kanyama constituency in Lusaka, have been complaining about the long distance to the police post in the constituency, which they say is not near enough for everyone. Kanyama Member of Parliament Mr. Chinkuli Monti has however assured residents of Kanyama constituency that more police posts will be constructed using Constituency Development Fund (CDF).
We voted CDF in all the constituencies, and the tasks attached to the CDF is such ventures. So it's up to myself and the WDC to come up and identify a place where I'll be able to put up that which the community needs. So if the community needs a police station, money is there. We'll give the police station. We won't start running to central police, the minister, no. The government has already given money.
Mr. Monti has advised other members of parliament to consider doing the same in areas of need.
So we have, and I've spoken to about meetings with the police, their head office in Kanyama, where the in-charge court all the CIOs together with deputies, so that we see how best we can handle issues of Kanyama. And I made mention to them that we want to leave them operate as much independent as possible, to the point that if the community will rise and say there's this, the police is not doing that, then it's unfortunate that it will take matters beyond.
Citizens are expectant that the constituencies will significantly improve due to the decentralization of CDF. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has warned that directors from various government institutions and parastatals risk being fired if they continue to frustrate youths who seek guidance on how they can benefit from government empowerment programs. UPND National Youth Chairman Gilbert Lisoniso has revealed that some directors from parastatals and other quasi-government institutions are making it difficult for youths to benefit from empowerment schemes through cooperatives due to what he terms as arrogance by some directors towards the young people. He alleges that some directors are denying opportunities to the youths in preference to those who are attached to the previous administration. Mr. Lisoniso says those who will lose their jobs should not call him to mediate on their behalf.
Appointed today to the directors of the PS, understand that your role is to ensure that you attend to the people of Zambia. The decentralization of the of power to the people, that's how we need to engage each other. Mr. Hakainde Chilema was very clear when he took the money to the constituents, because he understands that that's how people now will benefit. Now, if you want to frustrate, tomorrow you are being fired, either you have been appointed today, tomorrow you are being fired, and then you complain and then you call Gilbert Liswanis, I'm not going to attend to you. The issue is, I listen to the voices of the people, those who are complaining. The voices of the youths, it is my voice. I may not come to your office, but whatever you give an answer to a youth everywhere in the country, if you give me a rough answer, you are giving a rough to Gilbert Liswanis. When you are fired, you want to call Gilbert Liswanis. I'm saying no. I would rather also, maybe you call the president than calling me. Going forward, I'm appealing to you people now. It is time you understand that UPND is in power and the people of Zambia has to benefit for what they voted for. So when they come to your offices, please ensure that you do what is right. Don't call Gilbert when you are being fired. No. The issue is when we come to your offices, what are you doing to the youths? What are you doing to the women? What are you doing to the general public of this country? That's the most important thing, which all those today who are running this institution to come to understand that we are there to watch whatever they are doing.
The Patriotic Front says it is confident of bouncing back to power during the 2026 general election and change the narrative that no former administration has ever retained power. Speaking to journalists in Lusaka Friday, PF Chairperson for Elections, Reverend GODFREDAH SUMAILI, says the party is taking a more consultative approach in its rebranding process. And former Minister of Works and Supplies, Sylvia Chalikosa, says the current administration is playing a propaganda game by insinuating that the PF was corrupt when they have failed to prove the allegations. More in this report.
The Patriotic Front Party has, after experiencing the shock of losing the 12th August 2021 general elections, embarked on the process of rebranding the party. The PF is this June expected to hold its national convention where new leaders are expected to be elected. And speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka Friday, PF chairperson for elections Reverend GODFREDAH SUMAILI, who represented Party General Conference Preparation and Planning Committee, says consultations with all party leaders across the country have begun and that the subcommittee will soon invite submissions from well-wishers and other stakeholders that have interest in the affairs of the party.
It is imperative that going forward, the operations of the Patriotic Front Party take a united front in order to emerge stronger, taking into account the concerns of the members, friends of the party, and other interested stakeholders.
And when asked how confident the party is in ascending to office, considering that no former ruling party has ever ascended to office, Mrs. Sumaili told this reporter that the PF will bounce back to power come 2026.
In terms of prospects, we are upbeat as a party. We are very, very confident that come 2026, we are going to be victorious. And that's why we are taking time to ensure that we organize ourselves. And we have a lot of support out there. A lot of Zambians are waiting just for us to say we are ready, and they will support their party.
And former Works and Supply Minister Sylvia Chalikosa says the current administration has been peddling lies about the PF, that it was a corrupt government, yet it has failed to prove the assertions.
The incumbent government and the party of the UPND, there has been a lot of negative labeling of the Patriotic Front as being corrupt, and we're all waiting to see the level to which this corruption goes. So as PF members, we do not believe that the party in general is corrupt. It is still poor focused and focused on the people.
And PF member of the Central Committee, Remember Chanda, says the PF is still the People's Choice Party and that the party will listen to its members when electing its new leaders.
This party is one of the biggest opposition parties today, and our people out there are still looking to us. And now this brings me back to the question you asked, that many parties have come, lost power and gone into oblivion. I think PF will change that statement.
Will the PF, after the rebranding process, get what it takes to convince the Zambian people to give them another chance to rule the country? Only time will tell. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Shiwangandu Member of Parliament Stephen Kampyongo has advised the Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo to stop intimidating health workers in order to show that she is working. Mr. Kampyongo believes Ms. Masebo has not been efficient in dealing with the challenges of the ministry. The former Home Affairs Minister says Ms. Masebo, in her recent visit, has seen for herself that most people are just being given prescriptions. He says the minister must not resort to the blame game, but rather deal with the challenges that are impacting on the people of Zambia.
The Minister of Health going to the hospitals, and she was told in her face, because she wanted to show the country as usual in these stunts they do with the media, that she had gone to see where the medicine, and she met people with the prescriptions who are going to buy medicine to say, Madam, what you are saying in your office is not true. We don't have medicine. Even where you are finding us, we are going to buy medicine. What does that show you? Isn't that failure? That is failure in someone's face. And when we have said probably the minister is misplaced, they misunderstand us to think we are just talking. Where we are saying, look, do the right thing. People have told you, you have come, yes, we have seen you. Here is a prescription, I'm going to buy medicine. There is no medicine in the hospital. And you want to still just tell people what you have in your mind. It doesn't work. You are blaming doctors to be on the phones. Look, who doesn't know that these gadgets you have are no multi-purpose gadgets? It's not all the time that anyone who is on the phone is doing propaganda or just gossiping.
What's happening?
No. Doctors, teachers, now can use this phone to do real-time research. They can consult their colleagues on a challenge that they're faced with on the phone. So you as an informed minister, you can't go and start branding them as lazy people for having gadgets. Just do what is right. And this thing of intimidating public servants must come to an end. Those are public servants who are in these jobs because they deserve them. They got educated to get these jobs. So we, who are politicians, will be there and will come and go. And like she was saying, yes, you go, you are there, Minister of Health, and you leave. There will be someone else who will come. But those doctors that were found will remain there to save citizens. So don't intimidate them.
National Democratic Congress NDC spokesperson Emmanuel Malite says the United Party for National Development UPND alliance is driving the country towards the path of economic recovery, contrary to opposing views that the country's economy has collapsed. In an interview, Mr. Malite states that the current phase the country is passing through is all in an effort to normalize things, adding that challenges are expected in the process. The NDC spokesperson said this in response to sentiments attributed to Patriotic Front member of the Central Committee, Mr. Antonio Mwanza, alleging that the UPND alliance duped the Zambian people.
What I want to emphasize on the PF that when you go back and sit and reflect and never criticize this government is on course. Criticizing this government that they should reintroduce the subsidies that the PF were doing is totally unreasonable thing doing that, because this is a government that now we're still paying those subsidies that the previous government owed. Literally they were doing subsidies on borrowed money. How could you run a country like that? Talking about the price of fuel, this government has nothing. We don't produce fuel in this country. We have no control over how the prices go up, because that's an input. And how these prices are going up, it's something that is on the international market. How could you put this government that they are failing to perform on their promises, just basically on the fuel increment, which the government in place has no control over?
Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema says the agriculture sector should not be viewed from the Farmer Input Support Program FISP, but from a broader agriculture support program ASP. Speaking when he officially opened the 7th Agri-Tech Expo in Chisamba District Friday, President Hichilema says agriculture is broader than inputs such as fertilizer and seeds. The president says agriculture support program will factor in more than inputs, but value addition, storage, irrigation, and addressing the importation of agro-produce that can be grown locally. And Zambia National Farmers Union ZNFU President Jervis ZIMBA says the agriculture sector is under attack from challenges such as disasters, climate change, and imports of produce that can be grown locally. More in this report.
Zambia's agriculture sector is one of the largest employers, as majority of Zambians, especially those in rural areas, depend on agriculture for their survival. The agriculture sector has over the past few years come under attack due to challenges such as climate change, natural disasters, and unfair competition from imported produce, which are also locally produced. And speaking in Chisamba district of Central Province, where he commissioned the 2022 Agri-Tech Expo, Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema says Zambians should move from viewing the agriculture sector from the Farmer Input Support Program's point of view, but to a broader agriculture support program, ASP.
Agriculture must be viewed from the point of view of FISIP, fertilizer, seed. It cannot be. Fertilizer is broader, is bigger than that. And your government, working with you through this instrument I'm just about to remind you of, will work together to evolve very rapidly from FISIP, the political FISIP, to an agricultural, commercial, business-driven, fully fledged agricultural support program.
The president also says government's key policy objective is to develop the agriculture sector as part of reconstructing the economy. He, however, says public and private partnership dialogue will be key for engagement of growing the economy.
There's no reason that a Zambian must go to bed without food. Truly, there's no reason. I agree with you. You raise questions in your speech. Why should this be this way? I'm here to tell you that you and us are one. Private sector, farmers, government, we are one. We have heard the list of your questions. Now we must work together to provide answers to those questions.
The 2022 Agritech Expo is being held under the theme Stay Ahead of the Industry and is being held for the first time in 2 years.
Expo has become the leading platform for showcasing technologies available to the farmers and advances made in all aspects of farming. The Expo also provides a unique opportunity for government to interact with the farmers at panel discussions such as ones that were held yesterday.
Events like this, where farmers come to a platform and meet politicians, meet scientists, and meet the manufacturers, is a perfect place for fruitful discussion and gathering intelligent solutions for the own farm and all these enterprises.
Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, has called on the power utility company ZESCO to rescind its decision to award a tender to supply wooden poles used in the installation of overhead power lines to international companies. CCZ Secretary General Father Emmanuel Chikoya says despite ZESCO justifying how it arrived at that decision, the tender process still needs to be revised. Father Chikoya says ZESCO should allow local suppliers to still participate in the process within their capacity as opposed to giving the entire tender to foreigners. He says the move is not economically sustainable for the country.
The Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, has noted with great concern the move by the Zambia Electricity Supply Corporation to shortlist 10 Zimbabwean and South African companies for the supply and delivery of 9 and 12-meter wooden poles, a decision that would greatly disadvantage local business. CCZ has taken time to start the statement issued by ZESCO to appreciate how the decision was arrived at. We must make mention that though the justifications indicated in the letter statement appear reasonable, it is our considered view that this decision needs to be reviewed so that Zambian suppliers equally have an opportunity to participate. The Zambian economy is not doing very fine. We need as much of our money as possible to be retained and circulated within the Zambian economy so that the local entrepreneurs and ultimately the Zambian people benefit. The identified capacity gaps and challenges can and should be resolved as a matter of urgency through the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. The local suppliers can be given tenders to supply according to their existing capacities, while long-term processes of capacity building are being undertaken to remedy the situation. Externalizing all the money through the award of tenders to foreign companies is not a good decision.
This is Camnet TV News. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Survender. Save nations, develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy: agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. Survender. Trade and logistics made easy.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. Has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change
is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Join Pastor Moses Chilwa on the ministry with his guest, Father Emmanuel Chikoya, as they discuss the church and development.
According to the Bible, human life is sacred and care must be taken to preserve human lives at all times and by all means.
Don't miss on Friday 8th April 2022 on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Law Association of Zambia, LAZ, has suspended a Lusaka prominent lawyer, Jonas ZIMBA, from practicing law with immediate effect. According to a notice signed by the Legal Practitioner Committee member Stephen Lungu, Mr. ZIMBA has been instructed not to appear in any court of law or tribunal. Mr. ZIMBA of Makebi Zulu Advocates has further been barred from filing court process of whatever nature until further notice. The notice of suspension was also copied to the Chief Justice, Supreme and High Court judges, the Attorney General, the Director of Public Prosecutions, and many others. Mr. ZIMBA has been representing prominent Patriotic Front officials, among them PF Vice President Given Lubinda. The Lusaka Magistrate Court has granted former provisional liquidator Milingo Lungu a 200,000 kwacha free bail in his alleged theft case. Magistrate Sanford Noble Friday morning released Mr. Lungu on a 200,000 kwacha free bail with two working sureties who are bound in the sum of 100,000 kwacha in their own recognizance. Recently, the Director of Public Prosecutions entered a nolle prosequi in a case Mr. Lungu was accused of stealing 4.4 million kwacha from KCM and money laundering, but was later rearrested and charged with the same offense. More in this report.
On the 11th of April 2022, former Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator Milingo Lungu will again take his plea in the alleged theft case involving 4.4 million kwacha, which he was previously slapped with. On Tuesday, the 5th of April, the state discontinued trial proceedings in a case in which he was accused of theft and money laundering involving the said 4.4 million kwacha, monies believed to be property of Konkola Copper Mines. This was after the Director of Public Prosecutions entered the nolle prosequi in the case. But barely 2 days after this move, Mr. Lungu was rearrested and slapped with the same offense. The Drug Enforcement Commission says his arrest comes after establishment of more evidence. He was also slapped with a new offense of being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. After spending a night in custody, Mr. Lungu Friday morning appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Sanford Ngubula, where he was granted a 200,000 free bail with two working sureties who are bound in the sum of 100,000, but in their own recognizance. Mr. Lungu, however, could not take plea, as his lawyers requested for more time to obtain full instructions. Besides facing the new theft case involving 4.4 million, Mr. Lungu faces a similar matter before a different magistrate involving over 17 million kwacha, monies also alleged to belong to Konkola Copper Mines. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The alleged ex-girlfriend of embattled Kabushi Member of Parliament Boman Lusambo has submitted before the Lusaka High Court that she is concerned about the safety and security of the DNA test to prove the paternity of her 4 children, as she fears the samples might be tampered with by the lawmaker. And this is in a matter in which the Kabushi lawmaker has sued a Lusaka resident, Messi Matongo, for alleging that she was in a relationship with him and fathered 4 children. In an affidavit, Ms. Matongo says she is agreeable that a paternity test be carried out so as to prove that the lawmaker is the biological father of her 4 children, but requests that the same should be a court-supervised DNA test. More in this report.
Soon, claims on whether embattled Kawushi Member of Parliament Boma Lusambo is the father to the 4 children a Lusaka-based woman alleges to have with him will be cleared following submissions from both parties agreeing to go ahead with a DNA test. However, Ms. Matango, who has been dragged to the Lusaka High Court by Mr. Lusambo for alleging that she was in a relationship with him and fathered 4 children, fears for the result on account that Mr. Lusambo might tamper with the said DNA test. Recently, Mr. Lusambo requested the court to order for a DNA test to be done on the alleged 4 children he has been accused of fathering with Ms. Matonga. He had filed an affidavit in support of summons for a paternity test, claiming that he was a responsible citizen and a man of honor highly respected in society, and as such the DNA test will be able to prove the allegations by Ms. Matonga are incorrect and untrue. However, in an affidavit in response to his affidavit in support of summon for a paternity test, Ms. Matonga has requested for the court to supervise the said DNA test, where neither her nor Mr. Lusambo will know the laboratory chosen to conduct the test, as this will ensure protection of DNA samples and the entire testing process. Ms. Matonga, who claims to have been in a sexual relationship with the Kawushi lawmaker for almost 8 years, says she has no intention of opposing to the said application for a paternity test, but her only concern is the safety and security of the DNA samples. She has since submitted that she is willing to contribute toward the expense of the DNA test, as she feels this will help prove that Mr. Lusambo is the father to her 4 children. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambia has been selected among 3 pilot countries in sub-Saharan Africa for the implementation of a technology assessment project in the energy and agriculture sectors using science, technology and innovation as a catalyst, Technology and Science Minister Felix Mtati has revealed. Addressing a press briefing at his office today, Mr. Mtati said the selection was done under the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, an intergovernmental organization intended to promote interests of developing countries in world trade. Mr. Mtati said technology assessment can assist the country in identifying priorities, improve cost effectiveness and long-term impact of technology policies and investments, especially in the field of agriculture and energy. More in the following report.
The Ministry of Technology and Science, with support of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, has launched a 2-year technology assessment project in the energy and agriculture sector using science, technology and innovations as catalysts. This follows the selection of Zambia by UNCDAD to be amongst the 3 pilot countries that include South Africa and Seychelles. Minister in charge of Technology and Science Felix Mutati said during a press briefing that the capacity to carry out the technology assessment is urgently needed in the country.
That has selected Zambia among 3 pilot countries in sub-Saharan Africa for the implementation of the technology assessment project in energy and agriculture using science, technology and innovation as the catalyst. Technology assessment is important in choosing appropriate technologies and innovations. It is also a crucial tool that helps to assess the pros and cons of a given technology and thus help frame the supportive policies and instruments that we can put in place as a country.
The minister noted that the project will allow policymakers, universities, public and private sectors to understand the concept of technology.
Technology assessment can assist also in identifying the priorities and improve the cost effectiveness and long-term impact of technology policies and investments, especially in energy and agriculture. The framework enables the taking of appropriate measures to minimize the risks and maximize the benefits.
And Global Technology Assessment Network Coordinator has urged Zambians to take advantage of the project.
It's a network that believes in the power of science and technology in improving people's quality of life, and also to create the appropriate evidence for a policy making that is socially sustainable, but also economically and environmentally sustainable policies. So we strive for that. And we're very much looking forward to integrate our Zambian colleagues in this work and extend it further beyond the two sectors of this particular looked at project and cover the whole socioeconomic sectors.
Government is aware of the challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects of climate change have had on technology and innovations. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
This is Camnet TV Main News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now in international news, an explosion killed at least 6 people and wounded 3 in a bar in the Kantindo military camp on Thursday night in Goma, the capital of North Kivu in eastern DRC. Among the victims, 2 senior officers of the Congolese army and 3 women and a child. Emotions were still running high on Friday morning. The relatives of the victims, still in shock, called for serious investigations. Meanwhile, reports of alleged killings by the Russian military like those in Borodyanka and Bucha have prompted the United Nations to suspend Russia from its leading human rights body. Moscow has dismissed the move as illegal and politically motivated. For more in international news, here's the roundup.
An explosion killed at least 6 people and wounded 3 in the Kantindo military camp on Thursday night in Goma, the capital of North Kivu province in eastern DRC. Among the victims, 2 senior army officers, 3 women and a child. I appeal to the head of state because he's our head of state. He's the supreme commander. Let there be a diligent investigation. Let us find the people who did this to my family. My neighbor is a colonel who died with his wife and child. It's really sad. We are suffering a lot. May God console us. This morning, the military governor of North Kivu told the press that the origin of the explosion has not yet been determined. The governor of North Kivu assured the population that the authorities were doing everything possible to shed light on the events. In view of the impact of the explosions, I believe that it must be an improvised explosive device. Only scientists will be able to determine what the device was. This is not the first such incident. In June 2021, a child died and 3 other people were injured in a fire near the North Kivu military auditorium in the same camp. A fire in a house caused the explosion of an ammunition depot.
As atrocities in Ukraine mount, the country's ambassador appealed to the General Assembly to hold Russia accountable and suspend them from the Geneva-based Human Rights Council.
All you need to do is to press the yes button and to save the Human Rights Council and many lives around the world and in Ukraine. On the other hand, pressing no means pulling a trigger.
Russia, denying all wrongdoing, accused the West of double standards.
What we're seeing today is an attempt by the United States to maintain its dominant position and total control to continue its attempt at human rights colonialism in international relations.
Russia lobbied hard, convincing China to vote against suspension.
Such a hasty move at the General Assembly, which forces countries to choose sides, will aggravate the division among member states, intensify the confrontation between the parties concerned. It is like adding fuel to the fire.
In the end, 23 countries sided with Russia. 93 voted in favor of suspension, but India, Brazil, and South Africa were among 58 countries that abstained, saying an investigation should be concluded first. Mexico also abstained.
I think it creates more polarization.
A country that supported previous resolutions deploring Russia's aggression.
Mexico is in favor of everything that will keep inclusion and dialogue on the table.
Still, the U.S. ambassador who initiated the vote hailed the decision as a victory.
Today, the international community took one collective step in the right direction. We ensured a persistent and egregious human rights violator will not be allowed to occupy a position of leadership on human rights at the UN.
The 47-member Human Rights Council launched an investigation into possible war crimes in Ukraine while Russia was still a member over Russia's objections. Now it will release its findings without Russia, who, after becoming only the second country to be suspended from the council, announced it was quitting. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, UEFA have charged Atletico Madrid over the behavior of their fans during the Champions League first leg quarter-final defeat by Manchester City. The Spanish side have been charged with discriminatory behavior and throwing of objects. According to BBC Sport, UEFA said its control ethics and disciplinary body CEDB will decide on the matter in due course. Manchester City won the first leg 1-0 on Tuesday at Etihad Stadium with a goal from Kevin De Bruyne. The second leg takes place on April 13 at the Wanda Metropolitana. To end Camnet TV News, the headlines once again. Government officials risk losing their jobs for frustrating youth empowerment schemes. Reverend GODFREDAH SUMAILI claims the PF will bounce back to serve Zambians. Prominent lawyer Jonas ZIMBA suspended from practicing law. And in international news, UN suspends Russia from human rights body over Ukraine abuses. And in sports news, Atletico Madrid charged by UEFA following Manchester City Champions League tie. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. Be careful, however, that the exercise of your rights does not become a stumbling block to the weak. Thank you for watching once again. My name is Jeffrey Sambo, and bye-bye.